Sup dogs, just bought this new Oxford Aqua T50 roll bag off eBay from Busters, I think, and I paid around about £50 for it, including postage. It's brand new, obviously, and this is about the third of these 50 litre Oxford roll bags that I've had. I've had a couple in the past and I've always found them really good, which is why I've bought another one. The reason I needed to get a new one is because, as some of you might have seen in one of my recent videos, I spilt a load of engine oil in one of my old ones. When I was taking engine oil to the tip, unfortunately it leaked out into the roll bag, and so I've had to throw that roll bag away. But that's fine because it was getting a bit tatty anyway, so I've got a new one. So what do I like about the Oxford roll bags? Well, they are extremely durable. They last several years. I've probably had about, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years, something like that, out of the ones that I've had in the past. And that's despite the fact that they get extremely hard use from me, and I mean really hard use, like, because I use my bike as my transport, as my daily driver. The roll bag's getting used every day. I'm in and out with, you know, groceries, waterproofs, whatever, other bits and pieces from shops, you know, lunch bag, going to work, all that kind of thing. Everything and anything goes in the roll bag. Excuse me. And they seem to kind of take all that hard use, and they kind of last pretty well in general. They don't really wear out or kind of seriously break or anything like that too badly. Obviously they get a wee bit tatty, a bit rough around the edges with the really hard use that I'm giving them, but they're basically pretty durable, a pretty heavy duty kind of material. They are properly waterproof. Never really had any problem with things getting wet, even in extremely bad weather, like riding on motorways and lashing rain with spray coming off trucks and all that kind of stuff. Never really had any problem with anything getting wet inside one of these roll bags. They are genuinely 100% waterproof. The other thing is that they do keep your stuff really quite secure when they're on the bike, because obviously it's a roll top bag, so you roll this top down like that, clip it at the ends, and once that's done there's no way anything's falling out of there. Which obviously if you have something with kind of a zip or whatever, zips have the potential to kind of split open, and then you can maybe you know, lose stuff or whatever. So so this is it basically. Got a carry handle. I don't really use that because basically what I do is I put the roll bag on the bike and then I just leave it there. And the only time really I ever take a roll bag off either of my bikes is when I need to take the seat off to either, I don't know, replace the battery, or, you know, replace a fuse or do whatever. That's the only time I take them off. Otherwise they just stay on there 24/7, and I just kind of use the roll bag like the boot of a car kind of idea. These roll bags are really good to secure to the bike because they have these adjustable Velcro straps underneath them. That actually goes underneath the seat, so you take the seat off, you put the seat through there, and then you put the seat down onto the bike, and that kind of like clamps the roll bag sort of semi-permanently onto the back of the bike. And then they have these D-rings here, and what I do is I just run a strap down either side of the bike, put them around the pillion pegs, and that anchors it really securely. This is another thing I like about the roll bags, is they are very stable because they're kind of flexible. They just kind of like mold over the pillion seat. Obviously because they're on the pillion seat, you can't really use one and take a pillion at the same time, but as I'm not really taking pillions, that doesn't really matter. So yeah, what else do I like about it? Well, the capacity is pretty good. Because it's 50 litres, 50 litres is a pretty decent amount of space in terms of motorcycle luggage. I find I can get about 3 carrier bags of groceries in one of these. Not absolutely full to bursting carrier bags, but reasonably full carrier bags will go in there. Basically you kind of put them across in a row, so you put like one side, one the other, and then one down the middle, and then at a push you can, if you've got maybe a smaller one, you can kind of like lay it across the top. Obviously I kind of realised that's probably not really what these things are designed for. They're designed more for kind of like touring and, you know, sort of going on holidays and trips and what have you, and, you know, taking like maybe bags of clothes and a laptop and bits and pieces like that. Obviously they work just as well for that. I've done that kind of thing with them as well. The other thing you can do with them actually is you can get a reasonably large holdall, put your luggage into a holdall, and this is something I've done a couple of times. Put the luggage into a holdall and just open up at the top and just put the holdall down inside it, and just you know, put it inside the roll bag, and then what you do is when you get to the hotel or wherever you're going, all you do is just unroll the top, pull the holdall out, and then take the holdall into your hotel room. And what that means is that you don't have to detach the roll bag from the bike. You can just leave the roll bag on the bike, take the holdall inside, and you know, it's that way it's a lot more convenient. So versus other types of luggage, well, I have tried other things in the past. I've tried panniers. Don't really like panniers. You can't really fit very much in them at all. Even quite large panniers, they just don't seem to have the capacity that one of these things has. So I'm not a massive fan of panniers. Also panniers kind of stick out at the side a bit, and they tend to go all a bit kind of squint and what have you, so not really so keen. But what are the other options? Maybe a hard top box. A hard top box obviously is probably going to be just as waterproof as one of these, I would think, although I've never really used one, and a bit more secure. Although to be honest, there isn't really any kind of motorcycle luggage system that's kind of like properly secure that you really can't get into. If somebody wants to get into it, they'll get into it. Obviously the security level on these is kind of non-existent, in the sense that, you know, there's no form of locking at all. Anyone can just come and unplug these clips and just open it up and take out whatever's in there. So for that reason you have to be reasonably sensible about what you leave in there. You know, I wouldn't, for example, leave a laptop sitting in there. The only thing I ever kind of leave in my roll bag, if I'm actually going away from the bike for any length of time, would be things that are pretty low value, like you know, kind of old scruffy waterproofs, excuse me, or, you know, kind of a few basic tools, you know, just a couple of cheap screwdrivers, an Allen key set, something like that, maybe like 10, 15, 20 quid's worth of tools. But I mean, apart from that, they just work really well. The ones that I've had in the past have been black and grey, and they were quite kind of smart and neutral. But I decided to get something a bit different this time. When I went onto eBay to look for it, I came across this one in kind of reflective yellow, and I just thought, you know, try something different for a change. So that's what I went for. I think it's quite smart, kind of high contrast, the black and the yellow. Also it's kind of partly yellow inside, which means it's a bit lighter and brighter inside than they usually are. And obviously these are all the kind of straps and things that you get with it. You get a whole load of different kind of straps, a carry handle and what have you, to attach it to the bike. Those kind of have like D-rings on them or something. That one's got one of those clips. These have these D-rings which you can use to pull these. You can pull these down really tight around the pillion pegs, and that anchors it really securely on the bike. You get about 3 or 4 of these, I think, with a, what's that I've got there, that's 2. Yeah, you get 3 of these, so there's like 1 for the back and 2 for the front. That's how I usually do it. So you've got 2 anchors there, so you usually anchor that around the back of the tail unit, and then on the front put one down each side of the seat unit around the pillion pegs, and that anchors it really securely. So it's kind of like anchored in 1, 2, 3 and 4 places. So that's pretty much it. You've got these straps go over the top. Once you've rolled it down, help hold it secure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that on the bike. I'm not going to do it right now because it's chucking it down with rain. I'm going to put that one on the Yamaha and keep my old one on the Honda.